Yumi! Oh, we all love Yumi.
Lots of news to break. I'll leave the interpretation of the good and the bad to you two. That's cool. Just imply I'm the ugly. It's fine.
What?
What do you mean?
What does that mean?
What does what mean?
The good and the bad. Oh, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
I get it now.
Counselor Morgan's hypothesis stands. This knife matches Miller's entry wound.
Well, how about that?
And it matches the wound better than the katana. Considering what we discussed yesterday, I'd be ready to say this is definitively the murder weapon used to stab Miller.
After analyzing the knife Sarah recovered, Dr. Sato has concluded that it's the blade that was stabbed into Miller's neck, not Sosuke's katana. Okay.
But I've had no more luck with DNA testing than Sarah did.
You weren't able to get anything.
Nothing in the range of admissibility. However, like Sarah, I was also able to perform blood type analysis on the blade. And while I also found AB- and B- samples on it, I found one more blood type as well, A+.
Really? The hell does that mean? That's
A+.
not Morgan's. Morgan's AB-. So, huh?
What?
Who is A+?
Tariq Chopin is...
Oh, that's unhelpful for him.
Barrows! It's the judge! Diamani!
Again, unhelpful for him. Not gonna be... No. Nope. Why would it be Victoria?
But imagine if.
Imagine if. Not Miller. Mireille! Reyes, no. Rockford, no. O+, good for you. It's not Huey, right? Because we already found a way to... So, unfortunately for us, I think that means we have to... Thanks. Wow. The only person that fits
Is Tariq Chopin.
is Tariq Chopin. Wow. Okay.
3 people cut with one knife. This can't be hygienic. As long as you don't stick it in your mouth, you should be fine.
Adonai!
Blame David, all right? A+ blood? Who was there that night that had A+ blood? Oh! My knife. Sato's analysis is a letter to conclude that this knife is a better match for the stab wound to Miller's neck than the katana. Also found A+ blood. But I guess it's just Tariq, right? Your Honor, these findings bring a rather alarming fact to light. If Dr. Sato believes Miller was most likely stabbed by this knife and not the katana, that means that this knife is also the source of Miller's blood on Sosuke's bindings. So either my client killed 4 men while cycling between a gun, a sword, a bat, and now a knife, with his wrists tied together, all before ever stopping to cut his bindings, or he was still in captivity when the Blue Bloods were killed.
Can we pause a bit and be like, that sounds like if Hotline Miami dev team and Bennett Foddy got together to make a game.
Either that or that sounds like... That absolutely sounds like a John Wick scene.
Okay, yeah. But wait, that almost sounds like...
An alibi for 4 of the 5 fucking murders.
That is not an alibi, Your Honor.
Merely an increasingly strong shadow of a doubt.
The jury can decide that for themselves. The facts surrounding Tariq Chopin's death still stand. Sosuke Ikaria was the only living individual in the room Chopin was killed in. Sosuke Ikaria is the only person with his fingerprints on the katana, something he corroborated with his very own testimony just a short while ago. And the defense's theorized fleeing suspect has already been revealed as incapable of committing any of these crimes.
Yes. But unfortunately for the people's case against my client, there's evidence that completely overturns our understanding of how Chopin died.
The knife.
The knife.
The knife that Dr. Sato just confirmed was used on Miller.
Very likely used to kill Miller, yes. But definitely used to kill Chopin.
What? What are you going on about?
Blood typing. Chopin is the only victim with A+ blood. Even my client Sosuke has A- blood. AB- blood. Yeah, Dr. Sato just told us that A+ blood was found on the knife.
That blood could have come from...
Nowhere but the single fatal wound identified on his autopsy.
Chopin's blood was all over that scene. The knife could have fallen into it at any point.
Check. Not at any point. No. This knife was removed from the crime scene and never seen by the Arcs. That means it had been moved to the alley before Detective Reyes arrived on the 3rd floor.
But Chopin was impaled by the sword. We've all seen it.
Yes, but not fatally.
He got better. How could that stab wound not be fatal?
Because it was post-mortem.
You're basing this on the blood? Usually closely follows a stabbing, yeah. It's the amount of blood, Your Honor. An impalement doesn't leave as much blood at the scene because the weapon acts as a stopper. I assumed the amount of blood at the scene was the result of the sword being jostled afterwards because the wound had been aggravated.
But what if it was aggravated because the sword was placed into it? But this knife turns that idea on its head.
Yes, Chopin was stabbed in the heart from behind, but it was most likely with this knife. He collapsed on the floor dead, then the knife was removed and his corpse was impaled with the sword in the same wound.
Leaving a mark on the floor.
The sword was only then moved around, increasing the wound size and masking the initial knife's entry wound, while utterly soaking the floor in blood. It's a possibility. If I may, Your Honor, this may be just a possibility, but it's the possibility that makes the most sense to me. It explains the irregularities with the victim's substantial blood loss, the pattern of the wounds, and the indentation on the floor. It might make medical sense, Dr. Sato, but the sequence of actions you've described are not those of a rational human. But wanting to frame Sosuke for the murder sounds pretty reasonable. And stabbing the corpse with his katana would be the best way to do that.
Why are we doing this with her?
Needed the katana. They didn't need the katana.
We didn't need the katana to frame Sosuke.
Yeah. Interesting.
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. I'm sure it occurred to them the sword would point to Sosuke. But if their primary goal when framing him, all they'd have to do was put the knife in his hands.
That's true. Swapping out the murder weapon and disposing of the knife is 2 to 4 times as much work. That many more chances to make a mistake. It's nonsensical.
Stabbing Chopin's corpse with a katana didn't help them frame Sosuke. So what did it achieve?
It made a big mess some poor schmuck would have to clean up.
Yep. Yes, that is, Chopin's blood nearly destroyed all the red ink docs at the scene. But who says that's a coincidence? What if Chopin was stabbed twice? Just so that his blood would cover up the red ink docs.
This is insane.
Makes sense to me?
No, not your logic for the stabbing. This idea of yours that Tariq Chopin was part of some kind of conspiracy to defraud the city.
Agreed, that is insane. I believe just the opposite.
You... what?
Tariq Chopin was an unpopular, straight-laced political aspirant, working as a cop only to improve his electability. His personality, his family, his goals, he'd have every reason to blow the whistle on Prop 492.
And just get the whole project cancelled?
leaving the lower wards in an underdeveloped lurch. A lot of people would hate to see that happen, a lot of blue bloods. But the son of 2 city councilmen wouldn't care, and an Icaria like my client would be actively rooting for it.
You think Chopin was murdered just to cover up the fact that Prop 492 had been corrupted?
Just? All that money left on the table? The future money coming down the line? That's a much better motive than... What was it you proposed exactly? That my client saw a police officer and would rather stab him than have to explain why he'd killed his captors.
Something along those lines. So, like, what's going on now? Did Sosuke do it or not?
That'll be cleared up in very short order, Your Honor. With the help of our final witness. Is it Huey? Is it Huey? If he's our final witness, that means he's the one that has the tables turned on.
So Yoru wasn't even really used to frame me. It was used to draw more blood from the wounds to soak the papers?
A very cold decision to make in the heat of the moment. Defiling a corpse just to protect investments.
Colder than stabbing someone in the back?
In some ways.
Didn't think that was up for debate, actually.
This all makes a bunch of sense if Huey is the one on the take, and he's the one that got the blue blood signal, and he's just lying about it because he freely can, because Chopin's dead.
Right, you're right, and that makes a lot more sense.
Thank you for
And it also vindicates my cold read of, he probably did it because he'd have the best turnabout.
Oh, and here we go. Here he is.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us once again, Officer Rogers.
Why solve the mystery when vibes continue to work? No problem. Where is everyone, though?
Well, after the shooting yesterday, I'd rather not risk the integrity or celerity of this trial by rescreening every member of the gallery when I've already cleared the room once.
Celerity?
Speed. Trials gotta go fast, baby. And it takes everyone a while to find their spot in the stands again.
We were almost caught in the line of fire not 24 hours ago, Officer Rogers. Yourself included. Surely you didn't find the lack of an audience to be intimidating. Oh, no, I guess not.
Where'd we leave off with this guy, anyway?
I believe that lawyer over there had just accused my late partner of being on the take for the Blue Bloods. I was merely exploring a possibility raised by the witness's sworn statement, Your Honor. That he never heard any gunshots in the area himself. And I stand by that. I just realized how we're gonna get him, too.
How?
Did he bring his phone into the court?
Oh.
Oh, man, that's...
Fun if true.
Oh, yeah. Good.
Does the defense have questions for this witness, Your Honor? Or should we all continue to glare at one another for the rest of the day? Tempting, but I guess we'd better not.
Your Honor. Oh my god, it's spreading. Your Honor, we asked the witness testify once more about how he and his partner arrived on the scene.
The Rogers curse. Oh no, it's spreading.
Yeah, no problem. I'll repeat it as many times as you like. I'm gonna have to call you on that. The whistle. It's quiet night, but then my partner heard gunshots. We headed for the nearest known Orca hotspot and arrived to find the building dead quiet. The door was locked. I checked the alley, but didn't see another way in. So Chopin shot off the lock through the door, and we entered. Followed some kind of loud music up the stairs, and there was a slam and my partner bolted to the 3rd floor. And a minute later, I heard a thud from upstairs and came running. To find the defendant standing over my partner's dead body.
So is it just going to be the first statements and we call it out with the thing?
Adonai, are you waiting for something, perhaps?
Just savoring the moment, I suppose. There's only one thing to do at this point, and once I hit the trigger on it, things will really take off.
Huh? Quit that already.
As I've mentioned mentioned, I feel, many times by now. That is a very unpleasant tone, Adonai.
Sorry, Butterfingers.
Hasn't anyone ever told you it's in poor taste to use the same trick twice?
It's been a lot more than twice now. And besides, it's only an issue when it's used twice on the same audience. Speaking of which, you want to answer your phone, Mr. Rogers? Just to fill you in, officer, what I accidentally pressed right now is a whistle found at the scene of the crime. Weird coincidence that my little slip-up coincided with your phone vibrating. Can you read us the notification you received just now? Or should the court computer simply force open all your devices and splatter your data across the walls?
Officer Rogers, you have a so-called receiver application installed on that device, do you not?
Yes, I do.
Is that in line with department guidelines on use of third-party software on state-provided devices?
It is not breaking any regulations. Doesn't need to earn you any demerits to make you look guilty as sin. You and your partner, that is. Did Chopin also have the app installed? We can go check. If having that app on your phone makes you guilty of something, you'd have to arrest half the cops patrolling the lower wards. And what do you mean by that? It's common knowledge that orcas use unconventional tactics to talk to one another. Flags on buildings, clothes left out on lines, smoke signals, probably even messenger pigeons.
Dope.
I feel like all of those were ones specifically I mentioned.
Crime via messenger pigeon.
I think I jokingly mentioned that as an option, did it?
Where? Don't jump scare me like that. When you've got to figure this statuesque, every pigeon is a disaster waiting to happen.
Anyway, whistles like that one aren't uncommon.
So, is it common for members of the police department to try to listen in on the chatter of groups like the Blue Blood Mafia?
Lower wards aren't a place a cop walks into without every weapon they could carry, and that goes double for information.
So there's nothing suspicious about his phone reacting to that horrible, horrible racket? I don't know, I've had to put up with that noise for nothing.
Not for nothing, no. The witness is correct, Your Honor. There's nothing suspicious about having a receiver installed on any of your devices, even if you aren't a cop. What's incriminating is the fact that Officer Rogers' device responded to the specific frequency of this whistle. Because you have to program it in.
Yep.
Sorry, officer. A little blue birdie already told the court that you need to input a frequency in order to get alerts for it. Yeah, I know that. So does the whole force, in fact. I'm sorry, what?
I see.
The hell is she reading over there?
Officer Rogers, testify about this anonymous tip that the police department received last night.
Oh, for fuck's sake! I haven't seen the submission myself, but it came through the department network straight to everyone's inboxes. Be advised, anonymous tip suggesting potential orca analog chatter at the frequency listed below. Patrol officers in lower wards use this information at your discretion. That is absurd! What is the point of informing every cop in the city about a secret communications channel? The Blue Bloods would find out their line is compromised within minutes. Would they? I don't know. I don't control how anonymous tips get handled. What time did it come in? But as soon as you got an email telling you that there might be criminal communications occurring at a random frequency, you tuned into it right away? Believe it or not, I am a little concerned about criminal communications these days. Having seen my partner murdered by an orca right in front of me. Really 24 hours before nearly getting shot myself. Back up, back up. You saw the moment of your partner's death? That's news to the court. Ugh, you know what I mean.
Your Honor, the tip was submitted and the frequency was spread throughout the police department network. Likely because the Blue Bloods believed it to be compromised, having already been used at a scene where 4 of their members died. Officer Rogers may have the receiver app on his phone.
But we're saying he installed it after. I see what she's getting at. So the tip came in after that because it was compromised at that point.
Yep.
So then Rogers put it on after that point.
But so do many other police officers in this city. The app doesn't provide timestamps of when frequencies are added.
So there's no proof of when this phone first started listening for that frequency.
Neither he nor his partner were members of the organized crimes unit. Therefore, they had no criminal informants of their own, and they could not have obtained this frequency before the rest of the department. Since the defense cannot prove the signal was acquired illegitimately...
I never said I couldn't prove that.
Is it the Magus because they stopped tanks during
Yes,
a
it
frisk?
is. It's the Magus. And it was specifically them.
The gun? What of it?
Not just any gun. A Magus, legally registered to Angkor Tan. And how do I know that? Because this gun was identified and scanned over a week ago, when Tanks was briefly detained by some well-meaning officers on patrol.
That report.
Officers TC and HR reported the following: subject in possession of firearm in violation of parole, and subject in possession of suspect communication software installed on personal phone. He wrote all of that in the report? You and your partner found the emergency frequency for Creek's Pod over a week ago by skimming Tanks' phone, and sat on it until last night when you kindly dropped it off in the tip box. The hell are you even saying? Why would we frisk a perp, get good intel, and keep it to ourselves? For the same reason your partner might report a generic shots heard over the police network when he already knew exactly where to look. The same reason he'd be ecstatic at finding documents on Prop 492, the site of an Orca bloodbath. You wanted your gold stars. Huh? You wanted to be first on the scene at the site of a blue blood massacre.
Counsel is badgering, Your Honor, and losing her meager thread of logic in the process. The previous witness testified that there was in fact a silent alarm that night, a silent alarm that needs to be actively pressed. It could only have gone out before Creek's heart stopped. Said witness responded to the alarm by traveling on foot, and yet arrived well before Rogers and Chopin.
Lower wards are maze-like. She could have been closer.
That whistle has a limited range over which it can be received. You proposed that Officer Rogers and Chopin were within that limited range at 9:45 p.m., yes? Obviously you do, or else they would never have received the frequency at all. So, if person H is on foot and individual R is in a police car, and they both receive a signal at the same time, and a train leaves Appletown at 3 p.m.
Seems like an irrelevant factor.
All the court need consider is this. How could Officer Rogers and Chopin have possibly arrived later than someone traveling on foot if all three were within that range?
Easy. Being in a car doesn't mean you're traveling faster, especially in a city.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone who's ever tried to drive through a fucking major city can tell you, that's not the same thing. It fucking sucks.
Can't believe I told my geometry teacher that none of this would ever be useful.
This isn't geometry, damn it, it's just logic. The fact is they did arrive later than Han. If I'm right about the motivation for Chopin's actions that night. If he was sitting in his police car and suddenly got a notification telling him some blue bloods were having a life or death emergency, how would he react in that moment?
It would seem that the defense does not have evidence available to address this contradiction, Your Honor.
Evidence explaining exactly how Chopin proceeded to the crime scene? I don't believe we have that evidence.
What have we got in evidence?
Don't think we have that evidence. God, this is such witchcore music right now.
I know, right? Release this soundtrack.
It's already released, I'm sure.
Good.
I don't think we have evidence for this.
Yeah, huh.
Regretfully, Your Honor, we don't have such evidence in our possession. But fortunately, Your Honor, we live in a surveillance police state.
Pardon?
And that makes it perfectly easy to surveil police officers. The officers' patrol car, their cell phones, traffic cameras, optics data. I could request any of it. Hell. Your Honor, I formally subpoena all of it. What?
What? Can she do that?
I'm not sure. I'm still learning.
Rhea's drunken swipe at my front door reminded me exactly how much power the police have. But it was her dutiful checking in that made me realize just how hard it is to lose a cop in this city. Whatever it takes to answer this question for the court. After Officer Chopin reported that he heard shots fired at 9:45 p.m., exactly how long did he and his partner do donuts in the parking lot before actually driving off to the scene? Ugh.
Kind of a big ask from the defense, but it's entirely doable. Do the people object? The people, of course, object to any data collection effort that would be a waste of the taxpayers' money or a violation of their privacy. So we would prefer that the range of this request be narrowed somewhat. Narrowed perhaps from everything to something.
Happy to do that, Your Honor. I promise not to act like a kid in a candy shop when browsing through. If you do this, if you subpoena that data, you'll just see me driving like a lethargic moron.
Officer Rogers?
He seems different.
Hardly recognize him.
Agreed, but I recognize his type. Soldier.
Your Honor, what the defense is suggesting is largely accurate.
Pardon? That's a first.
How? Though there's some corrections I feel I should make at this time. No objections here? Officer Chopin is the one who discovered the frequency when we apprehended Anne Corton. He entered it into both our receiver apps at that time without my knowledge. It wasn't until the night in question that he chose to inform me of the intel he had obtained and how he planned on acting on it. At 9:45 p.m. we received a signal. Before I could react, he had put out a notice on the police network that he had heard gunshots. It was at this time he told me to drive toward Blue Blood territory. As he started to explain to me what he believed we would find, I chose to take a suboptimal route. We spent several minutes in traffic as he berated me for my sense of direction.
So you both knew this silent alarm would lead you to some kind of blue blood emergency?
But only you realized that meant you should take your time getting there. Logically, a silent alarm is triggered during a confrontation and not afterwards. I had no desire to walk into the crossfire of an orca gunfight without backup.
You could have had backup, easily.
My partner had no desire to share our intel, or how we obtained it. I apologize to the court, Your Honor, for being evasive or misleading during these proceedings, and I intend to take full responsibility for doing so. But I was not eager to admit the role my own cowardice played in these events, nor would I ever want to imply that Officer Chopin was responsible in any way for his own murder.
Very warm sentiments from the officer.
Delivered with a voice as cozy as ice water.
So, you're telling the court that you and your partner arrived at what you expected to be a bloodbath, and you still shut the lock off a door and started stomping around inside while separated from one another?
Respectfully, ma'am, with the route I took and all the time it took us to arrive, we expected to find all targets neutralized. And that expectation was reinforced when we arrived on the street and found the whole vicinity dead quiet. Of course it was going to be dead quiet, there was soundproofing. Yet we were still first on the scene despite my stalling for time. And that might have enthused my partner. He was excited, and I let him set the pace. It's my deepest regret that I agreed with his request to split up. Slaps dead body. He could fit so many crimes in this body. First to arrive on the scene, we know that wasn't the case. A blue blood got there well before you and your partner. Oh, that's what you were talking about?
The witness wasn't present for that individual's testimony. He's merely giving the facts as he knows them. And he can't have known there was a blue blood in the building.
On the contrary, he already testified about encountering them yesterday, as they made a not-so-silent retreat down to the alleyway. That was a blue blood making all that racket? I see. My partner Chopin, he shouted that there was someone scrambling around down in the alley not long before he was killed. So I've opened the windows on the third floor to check.
That's a new detail, Officer Rogers.
Pardon me if I failed to mention it yesterday. It occurs to me you weren't present in the courtroom when this other curious detail was brought to light. The fact that there was another weapon at the scene of the crime.
a bloodied knife which somehow ended up down in the dumps.
Do you know anything about that?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Playing dumb. Wrong move.
But I do know Cyanus is a bunch of amateurs with conflicted priorities.
Explain this to the court, then. Forensic analysis has already shown that this knife was the murder weapon used to stab Miller, getting a healthy amount of his blood on it in the process. It's also been established that this knife must have been what my client used to cut his own bindings.
If you say so.
The evidence says so.
If the defense isn't interested in asking the witness questions, perhaps they'll answer mine. What does that have to do with Officer Rogers?
Everything, of course. Allow me to show you why. AB minus.
I don't understand. Wait, are there 3 options here or 4?
3. Sosuke's medical records. I believe it's going to be London's testimony here.
I suppose that makes sense.
We know for a fact that Sosuke had to use that knife to cut his bonds. And Detective London has testified that Officer Rogers apprehended Sosuke alone. So why can't the officer who apprehended the man last known to be using this knife tell us how it ended up in the alley?
That is a question well worth asking the witness.
I have no idea what you're talking about. When I found your client, he had the magus and he had the sword.
But he also just said that Chopin was the one to open the windows. Well, he assumed, I guess.
The sword he had stuck through my partner. This knife you're talking about? Where'd you find it?
In the trash.
Drum!
Down in the alley? Some crime scene tech idiot must have thrown it out by thinking it was bio-waste. Or Cyanus lackey tossed it as a prank. I wouldn't know.
Because I spent hours being debriefed in that room on the 3rd floor while they set up the arcs. I spent all night in a room with my partner's corpse. Never took a trip down to empty the fucking recycling bin.
We know the knife was with Sosuke at one point. We know it ended up down in the alley later. So it stands to reason that someone had to walk it downstairs and out of the building. If Rogers never left that room all night, then someone else must have moved it.
I think he could have.
Could have just opened the thing and just dropped it.
Yeah,
He didn't even have to leave the room.
We also know that he only is stuck in that room once Reyes and London arrive, and from that point onward.
Yep.
And that hasn't happened yet. It could be that he leaves, goes and does that, and comes back and stands there.
Yeah. 0 points for you.
Oh, 0 points again. I didn't know we were doing points, and I know I could never get any.
All that processing power and you can't manage to think in 3D? It doesn't matter if Officer Rogers stayed in that room all night, Your Honor. All anyone needed to do to dispose of the knife was step out onto the fire escape and drop the knife down into the barrel waiting below. No need to leave the 3rd floor. No need to leave the crime scene at all, Officer Rogers.
What kind of trick shot bullshit are you talking about?
That is a long drop, Your Honor.
A straight drop. Gravity is convenient like that.
The target was a small drum in a dark alley.
Said drum was burning when the police arrived. Target would have been plainly lit and...
I've taken both of your arguments into consideration. After much deliberation, I have come to the conclusion that the proposed method of removing the knife from the 3rd floor is not actually that hard to do, assuming a modicum of hand-eye coordination and a basic understanding of Newtonian physics. Well, obviously. Couldn't anyone manage that?
Practice martial arts who are masters of every muscle in their body. Individuals like yourself and me might find it hard to relate.
Oh, I didn't realize. Are you a master of the kumite?
Can't wait for Sosuke and Sarah to become gym buds. hanging out at the dojo every weekend.
Yeah.
Wiping the floor with all comers.
Oh, man, that's so cute. That's a great idea, actually.
There are some who would struggle with the task.
Yourself and I. Wait, hand-eye coordination?
Eloquently put, Your Honor. So you must agree that someone with hand-eye coordination so bad that they hold the record for worst marksmanship in the entire police department, someone with such poor aim that they opted to physically assault a target rather than shoot them, someone like that might find it impossible to pull that off. Are you talking about me?
She's talking about me, Your Honor. While I find her tone unflattering, none of what she has said is false. Apologies that dropping the knife from the fire escape didn't occur to me as a possibility. Just might be that for me personally, such a method of compromising a crime scene is not only unthinkable, it's also impossible. Of all the stupid details, to come back and bite me in the ass, the piss poor aim that London mentioned.
Is it possible Officer Rogers faked his poor aim at the academy?
It's easy to not hit your target, but why would he intentionally flunk a shooting test years ago to give himself such a strange alibi here today?
He didn't flunk his test. He got the very lowest score you could possibly get while still being certified.
Good lord, you'd have to be trying to.
If his goal was to receive the exact minimum number of points needed to pass, his margin of error would be actually much smaller than anyone doing their best.
But then, what about when he first saw me? It's true that any other cop who saw me standing over their dead partner would have just unloaded. Instead, he ran up and hit me. If he's not actually that bad of a shot, why am I still alive?
That is the story Rogers has been telling so far, that he instinctually didn't bother to fire. His gun wasn't discharged, and Sosuke's got the bruises, so he accepted that line of reasoning. But if I assume he's more dangerous than he's led us to believe, why wouldn't he have just shot Sosuke when he had the chance? Because Sosuke he needed someone to fall for it. He could have told his fellow officers whatever story he liked afterwards. We wouldn't even be having this trial. I feared for my life that's all he'd need to say. Under what circumstances would it have been impossible for him to claim that? Your Honor, I'm reminded just now that my client and the witness were in a physical altercation.
I apprehended a murder suspect, yes. Surely you aren't suggesting I used unreasonable force.
If anything, you used unreasonably little. Not at all, but I imagine things happened fairly fast. Isn't it possible a knife on Sosuke's person may have been knocked away into a corner during that moment?
What are you...
It may have. I can't say that I would have necessarily noticed something clattering onto the floor while I was trying to cuff a violent perp.
Perhaps, Your Honor, the witness ought to testify about everything he recalls from the moment he confronted my client. Jogging his memory might be the only way we can address these gaps in our knowledge.
No objections. Then let's hear it. Good versus evil, man versus machine, cop versus robber. I'm not a machine or a robber.
Don't worry, Sosuke. If need be, Ad and I would go through a whole trial just to prove you're a machine.
What kind of joke is that?
Fire escape and Sosuke's medical records.
When that blue blood fled down the fire escape into the alley, I poked my head out the second floor window. Then I heard a sickening thump up above, on the third floor where I knew my partner was. Reflexively, I drew my service weapon and rushed up to the stairs where I saw the defendant standing over my partner's dead body. What do you mean, reflexively, you drew your weapon? I was shocked, but he was clearly injured and the sword was stuck, so before I knew it, I was running at him. He turned to me with dull shock just as I whipped my pistol butt into his forehead.
Forehead? No.
Forehead!
No, not the
He collapsed after that and the room was a mess. My blood was pumping. If he had dropped a knife at that time, I wouldn't have noticed it. Okay, so we see exactly where we need to get him.
Yep, Sosuke's medical records.
Despite his change in posture, he's still telling the same story.
Yeah, he hasn't changed his tune, but he is giving more detail than ever before.
And one of those details is about to bite him in the ass.
This one.
And we use Sosuke's medical records.
Yep.
Wanna bet? Sounds very brave, Officer Rogers. But that's physically impossible. How could you have knocked my client out with one strike to the forehead when it was the back of his head that was injured?
What are you talking about? Yesterday he had bruises across his entire body.
An exaggeration that doesn't hold up to the scrutiny of his actual medical record. Largest wound found on the crown of the head. The crown is in the top of the back of the head. The butt of a pistol leaves a surprisingly specific impression on the human body, Officer Rogers. I assume Dr. Sato is still in the building? Perhaps we could call her back and have her examine my client on the stand.
Sosuke, you'll have to remove your shirt to get my head checked. That would be a waste of time, Your Honor. Counselor Morgan has taken advantage of some rather vague wording in the medical record to make her argument. Largest wound. But the fact is the defendant was covered in various bruises all over his body when he was taken into custody, including on the front of his skull. She's not wrong. I still remember every ache. It's entirely possible that when Officer Rogers struck the defendant on the forehead, the blow was glancing, but still hard enough to knock the defendant backwards. And had he fallen backwards hard, he very easily could have sustained a large wound to the crown of his head at the moment he hit the ground.
Respectfully, Your Honor, that is...
Ultimately not something either the people nor the defense are experts on. But even if we were, neither of us could examine wounds that are no longer visible.
Sosuke's injuries. They've mostly healed as of this morning.
Hope that injection helped you sleep really well last night, Sosuke.
Your Honor, as I see it, either we could extend this trial indefinitely, with both the people in the defense flying in X-ray specialists and contusion analysts to argue back and forth about fracture lines, or we could accept that events more or less took place as the witness described. He hit the defendant on the head, and then the defendant fell backwards onto the floor.
I don't think that's what happened, though.
If the head wound's open to interpretation, then...
Let's take a look.
Medical records.
Blood from various sources across the front of the body, not the back.
So he fell on his front.
He fell on his front.
Yes.
He fell on
there
his
we
front.
go.
Forget expert witnesses. Let's all just look at the medical data with our own two peepers.
Peepers?
Jeepers
Jeepers
creepers.
creepers.
Oh, where did you get them peepers?
Officer Rogers claims that Sosuke was hit in the forehead and fell backwards. But what would he have fallen onto?
In that room, probably blood and guts. Yuck.
You're exactly right.
All kinds of firsts happening in the courtroom today.
He would have gotten blood all across his back. But that's not how he looked when he was arrested. The medical report clearly states that he had blood on the front of his body, telling us that Sosuke could only have fallen forward.
And what of it? Maybe he did. He turned his head weird while trying to dodge. Things happen fast. Don't try to bullshit a bullshitter.
Fast enough that you may have, in fact, actually struck my client from behind?
Yeah, maybe.
Took him by surprise when he was no threat to you?
What? No.
Easy target to knock out at that point. Makes sense why you wouldn't use lethal force in that scenario.
No. He was... Guy's got nearly a full head on me.
That's true.
True. I don't deny it. Which makes it highly unlikely the witness could have simply hit him on the crown. If things happened as you say, and he had the element of surprise, he would have simply aimed for the easiest target possible, the one easiest to reach, the center or bottom of the skull.
Not quite.
Excuse me?
I never said that my client was standing up when this happened.
You mean?
He was asleep.
No. Considering that he was struck on the crown of his head, it's obvious at the time that Sosuke Ikaria was bent over, picking up Yoru.
Yep.
My client must have been bent over. He's bent over when the witness came from behind and...
How did I?
What? Why are you interrupting me now?
Because I thought you would want to know that you were about to phrase things in a way that would sound very silly.
What are you talking about?
Sarah's right, Morgan. You should let her take this one.
What?
It was when Sosuke bent over to pick up Yoru. That is when Officer Rogers struck Sosuke on his crown.
As I've said, the one thing I do remember besides walking out there was picking up my sword.
Is anyone going to explain to me what's happening here? I don't understand. Emma, why are you laughing over there?
Picking it up off the ground. Having your android argue the weaker points for you now, counselor? Not exactly the bravest tactic.
Tactics are for freshening your breath. What? They still exist at that time?
Yeah.
What can you claim is weak about the argument?
Positioning. If your client really had walked out of that holding room and was then immediately hit from behind, where could his assailant have possibly been standing?
Oh, hey. Sosuke had to get out of his bindings first, then push open the door. He wouldn't have been concerned with keeping quiet as he went. Would have been plenty of time for someone to hear him rummaging around in there and figure out where they could hide. In the corner of the room, here.
That doesn't work. If that was the case, your client would have fallen face first here. But instead, he was apprehended here, in the center of the room.
Hey, makes sense to me. Looks like he dropped like a sack of potatoes by the door, sure. But what about this big... Then he was dragged to the center of the room. That is true, we never really addressed this big dragging.
Yeah.
What explains the streaks of blood we could see were discovered on the floor.
So those weren't left by him gliding his feet in order to move silently? I was hoping to learn that technique.
It's okay, Sarah. I'll teach you next weekend.
Yay!
I really want the fucking gym rat arc between those two.
Between the fully sentient android and the career assassin for the yakuza.
Hey, someone's got to keep him to his reps.
Your Honor, I fear the defense may not realize the weight of the implication that her statement carries. If, as she claims, Sosuke Ikaria was knocked unconscious by Officer Rogers the moment he walked out into the room,
Then my client never had any opportunity to stab Tariq Chopin in the back, and the only remaining individual who could possibly have killed him would be me. Yes. Any thoughts on that, officer? There's one thought that's been frustrating me for some time, actually. One I expected the prosecutor to voice, but perhaps I misjudged her.
You what?
None of what you're saying makes any sense. You said I hid in the corner to surprise Sosuke, and then what? Snuck up on Chopin? How could I do any of that if I was downstairs at the time Chopin was killed? At the time Sosuke killed him.
You...
It's not that the thought hadn't occurred to Emma, you idiot. It's that once I address this point, your entire testimony falls apart, and the truth of the case becomes crystal clear. There is no misunderstanding on my part, and I suspect none on the part of the people either. Because the truth is, when you and your partner arrived, you must have immediately...
taken the lead? Why would he do that? He didn't immediately KO Chopin. There's no evidence of blood.
And he didn't fall behind.
No.
He took the lead.
So he
he's
took
not
the
where
lead.
he's not where in the building he claimed to be.
Why? Why would he do this?
You were the one who took point, not your partner. Excuse me? Chopin shot open the lock, sure, I believe that. He was one all gung-ho about coming in there anyway. But after entering, you went ahead of him while he covered for you. What? You already told us you wanted to stall, wait for backup. If Chopin charged forward, you couldn't slow him down. But if you went first, you could go as slowly as you liked, and Chopin would be forced to match your pace. You were the one who cleared the room and shouted down that everyone was dead. I told you, I testified. So did your blue blood tail. Testified all about how you and your partner separated on the second floor.
Oh, it's so convenient that Han only saw shoulders and boots and didn't see who it was where.
Yep.
Oh. Objection. This characterization of testimony, the witness the defense is referring to did encounter two officers, but the witness never identified either of them.
The blue blood didn't need to. All they were waiting to hear was whether any blue bloods were alive. So after Roger shouted down to Chopin that everyone was dead, they bolted out the second floor window. And when Chopin shouted that someone was in the alley, Officer Rogers opened the windows behind Creek's body to try and spot the runner. Then he ran down the fire escape to try and follow them, only to give up when he saw that there was no ladder to get down with.
It's entirely possible that Chopin yelled that someone was in the alley from the 3rd floor.
The scene of the crime is soundproof, remember? No one in that room would notice a commotion in the alley unless they'd already opened the windows to check it. So since Chopin yelled about it, he had to have been the officer who stayed on the 2nd floor.
This blue blood rat of yours just misheard. Or they're lying. There's no proof for any of this.
And yes, there is, officer. The boot prints on the documents on the 2nd floor. Yep, there it is, baby.
What are the other options, though, before we click?
The dumpster, the front door, the knife, the receiver app. No, it's the...
That scrap of paper was found by the 2nd floor windowsill.
But it's not just any scrap of paper. It matches the red ink documents that were found where the pod died, and happens to have a partial boot print on it, proving that someone stomped from the crime scene down the fire escape and onto the 2nd floor.
That doesn't prove anything. Your old client could have left that boot print.
My client was arrested barefoot, remember? You should. You did the arresting.
Then maybe Chopin.
If Chopin was the one who brought the scrap down from the 3rd floor, that would put him behind you, meaning you couldn't have walked in on him being attacked by Sosuke.
Ah!
Counselor, even if we accept that Rogers was on the 3rd floor and then moved down to the 2nd, the sequence you're describing ends with both officers reunited on the 2nd floor, with neither of them dead. But obviously, Chopin did proceed to the 3rd floor because that's where he was killed. So now we're back where we started.
Back where we started? You're forgetting one key detail in this new sequence of events. At the time the officers reunited on the 2nd floor, my client was already unconscious.
Ugh.
Meaning the only person who had a chance to kill Officer Chopin was, in fact,
None of this shit matters. This lawyer's trying to accuse me of killing my partner? That doesn't make any goddamn sense. Why would I do something like that?
depends. It's the year of the adult diaper.
I have never finished that book. I don't know. Is it good?
What?
That's like one of the first things you're introduced to in Infinite Jest is that years are no longer numbered, but are given advertising names.
Okay.
And so this one takes place in the year of the Depends adult diaper.
Really? That's the thing in Infinite Jest?
Yeah.
That's funny because I was about to say something like that, but I've not read Infinite Jest.
I've read maybe a quarter of Infinite Jest and just it was not gripping me. It was not doing it. Maybe I'll give it another shot at some point.
Slaps roof of SK. This does not have room for that much jest.
What?
Depends on where you live, not uptown, I assume?
What's it to you?
Single bedroom?
Yeah, whatever.
Huh, not great.
Excuse me?
And having to ride around all day with some insufferable, spoiled rich stuck in the mud. Knowing the whole time that your job, your whole goddamn police department, was all just a bullet point on his resume.
Counsel is badgering the witness in lieu of making an actual argument.
Apologies, Your Honor. I'll state the motive plainly. Prop 492 was corrupt. Blue Bloods and worse would profit off of it at the city's expense. But it would also bring economic relief and badly needed repairs to the lower wards. Might also stop the canopy from, just falling down and crushing everyone who lives there. But a climber like Chopin wouldn't care about any of that. Every photo I've seen of this guy, he's had a big, stern frown. But I'll bet he was grinning ear to ear when he found that red ink. Must have made you sick to your stomach. So you killed him. And then you bled him like a pig to try and destroy the documents he'd have plaster all over town.
You're crazy. That's not possible.
Do the people have anything to add?
Emma hates losing, but she's not stupid. She must be getting sick of having to cover for this.
Officer Rogers, you were the one who entered the 3rd floor first, weren't you?
What is she doing?
Yes.
How long were you there before your partner alerted you to someone escaping through the alley?
More than 2 minutes, less than 3.
You had a chance to start looking the room over.
Yes.
And did you see anything as politically explosive as what the defense has described?
No, nothing of the sort.
Your Honor, the witness is blatantly lying. We know the documents were there, and we know Chopin found them because they were found underneath his corpse.
And it is the defense's theory that he was killed because of those documents. Because he would have tried to make them public, essentially.
Yes.
That's the defense's proposed motive for this man to kill his partner?
Yes?
I see. But why would he be prepared to kill his partner for reading documents left out on a desk when he had over 2 minutes to simply get rid of them beforehand?
Check.
Ah,
Oh,
A damn good question, Your Honor.
do we have an answer for it?
I am getting there. I will get there. I'm close. His layers are falling off. This is a cold guy. Cold enough to walk into that room, knock out Sosuke, and start calmly looking around. So is he lying? Did he actually see those papers? No, Emma's right. If the papers were in plain view, he'd have just tucked them into his jacket. The papers were in plain view. Were they? Ugh, I don't remember. Where the hell did I put them if not on the desk? We're taking them out of Creek's safe and thinking they were nothing important. So I just... Okay. That's probably how one page got left where it could stick to the bottom of Roger's boot. Before I left, I reorganized things, trying to make it seem like I was never there. So I stacked things neatly.
Yoo-hoo, counselor, any cuckoos in or around the nest?
Pardon me, Your Honor. Oh, simply overthinking, to be honest. Officer Rogers didn't dispose of the red ink when he had the chance, because he didn't notice the red ink. It's that simple.
A simple answer to a simple question that simply doesn't measure up. If Officer Rogers didn't notice the red ink docs in the 2 minutes he had with the scene, how did his partner discover them so quickly? Neither of them were looking for illicit government documents at the site of a gang shooting. Neither of them would want to start disturbing a crime scene when there were bodies and blood all around them.
Correct. Rationally, neither officer would want to start making a mess of the scene. Something must have simply caught Officer Chopin's eye. Very bad luck on his part, as it turns out.
You've gotta be. What the hell are you talking about?
What could it have been? Sounds like a tough question to answer, but there aren't as many possibilities to sift through as you'd think, Your Honor. Because it would have to be something that caught Officer Chopin's eye, yet not that of his partner. In other words, something at the scene that Officer Rogers wouldn't recognize.
Your Honor, this is pointless. If the officers knew this was the site of orca violence from the silent alarm, and there was blood and corpses all over the damn place, and if the red ink documents were not in plain sight amidst all that carnage, what could possibly have drawn Officer Chopin's attention to them?
If I need to retrace Chopin's steps specifically, was there anything in the evidence record that he left a trace on? Was there anything that Chopin left a, was it the knife?
There is a trace on the knife because he got stabbed with it.
What happened with the sound system? Did he turn off the sound system?
Oh.
And that changed his... Still playing loudly, so it's not the it's not the sound system. Maybe, oh, the dark card, maybe.
What do we know about the dark card?
Rogers wouldn't know what a dark card is, but Chopin absolutely would.
Why wouldn't Rogers?
Because he's a small-time guy. He lives downtown in a single bedroom. Chopin's parents are...
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's the dark card.
Let's try it.
When Rogers first entered the crime scene, he must have seen Creek's datapad resting on top of some papers.
You think the red ink documents were beneath the datapad at the time. That might explain why Rogers didn't notice them, but that's only half an answer.
Then how's this? It wasn't the datapad that drew Chopin's attention, Your Honor. It was the dark card that was stuck inside of it.
The dark card?
Seems like little more than a fancy credit card to you or I. But if you're rich enough, it's an unmistakable sign of powerful forces at play. Exactly the kind of thing that would put a gleam in the eyes of the politically ambitious Officer Chopin. Right up until the moment he saw the bombshell hidden beneath the datapad.
Your Honor, this speculation...
Chopin's prints were discovered on the datapad, Your Honor. We knew he must have picked it up. And that datapad was found by police on the desk, so we know he must have put it back down. I'm merely proposing that he didn't put it back down in the exact same spot.
Just because this dark card happened...
Hey, seriously? What the hell have you two been talking about? What the shit is a dark card? Cryptographically anonymous wallet card that rich people used to buy illegal drugs and gifts for their mistresses. Not common knowledge, unless you ran in circles as high up as the city council. Yep, got it, exactly. Oh. Yeah, you're right. I didn't know that, never heard of that. Assumed you were being literal. It is a dark card. Yeah, to be honest, wouldn't surprise me. Chopin going around picking up whatever he wanted at a crime scene without even radioing first? Sounds about right. Bare hands, mouth breathing. Guy was big on following the rules, just wasn't that good at remembering any of them. Not me, though. I remember every rule. I follow them, too. Partner breaks a body cam, I request a new one. Let him use mine. Stop him getting sued by the next punk he bumps into. It's a real risk for him. He had money. People would sue him if they could. No one would try to sue Huey Rogers. Only thing the judge could award them would be my own goddamn debts. You don't think I'm bad with money, just bad with debt. Can never seem to get rid of that stuff. But even I'm not so stupid that I wouldn't wear gloves at a goddamn crime scene. You mean? Obviously, counselor. From the minute we pulled up to that building, until I was relieved from duty and sent home the next morning, I was wearing gloves. 3 stories in an alleyway, and I could swear on my parents' graves I didn't contaminate 1 millimeter of it. Didn't put my greasy fingerprints on the windows, the doors, the murder weapons. You would never know I was ever there. So you could say I did this or claim I did that, but the city's only ever going to hear that some Icarian bastard killed a bunch of blue blood punks, and that Tariq Chopin died a hero, trying to save the day.
Right.
I don't know. Is that true? Is that possible? For all this, is it possible that... But the jury, surely they can see.
The jury will see what the adjutant decides they need to see in order to properly render their verdict. If the adjutant comes to the conclusion that a witness or a line of questioning would only serve to confuse the jury...
Edie! Your Honor, the jury!
Give me a second to think here, girl. I'm trying to build consensus and basically everyone's mad. So, maybe the adjutant rules in our favor and maybe the jury sees things our way.
But there are no guarantees.
After all that, it just...
Comes down to a gamble. Always does. Yeah. But you still get a chance to sculpt your hand. And I could do a lot better than this pile of shit. Just have to take my licks first. Your Honor, I disagree.
About what exactly?
About all of it. About everything. Look, we know someone moved from the 3rd floor to the 2nd floor via the fire escape because of that scrap of paper, which would have put them in the perfect position to walk up behind Chopin. And we know Chopin picked up the datapad because his fingerprints are on it. So we can reason Chopin was investigating the desk before he died. And of course we know he died reading the red ink documents because, duh, his body was found collapsed on top of them. Put all that together and...
Nothing. You still have nothing. Nothing except circumstantial evidence tying this witness to a theoretical sequence of events.
Emma, did you get hit in the head too?
What?
We have Officer Rogers' fingerprints on the murder weapon.
What?
They'll never go all in unless they think your hand is crap. Put on a show. His prints were on the pistol he used to bludgeon my client, of course.
What? What are you... No, they aren't, as he said he was wearing gloves. Also, that gun was never fired. What are you talking about?
Now that you mention it, yeah. Shoot, did I get my notes mixed up? That's right, it must have been the bat. Did you think we would have noticed you left your fingerprints on it just because it was broken into splinters?
The baseball bat used on Trey. Forensics failed to pull a single print from that. Is this your idea of a joke?
Jeez, take it easy. I misspoke a little. Also, I don't have my reading glasses.
What?
The magus that was used to kill tanks in Creek, of course. Pretty stupid to forget to wipe print off a piece of that gaudy, don't you think?
Counselor, what is this? Are you throwing a tantrum? Making a mockery of the courtroom? The only prints on that gun belong to Sosuke Ikaria.
Oh, sorry. Guess I was thinking of another case.
Is there perhaps a gas leak on the other side of the courtroom?
Well, I don't feel stupid. Well, don't I feel stupid? What I've been trying to say is that Officer Rogers failed to notice that he left his fingerprints on all the most important weapon of all. The very blade that took his partner's life.
Enough of this embarrassment. What the hell is wrong with you? I knew a mob lawyer would be corrupt and vile, but how can you be such a stupid bimbo? Think we're all idiots? My fingerprints aren't on that goddamn knife, and you know it.
She didn't say knife.
Oh! Oh!
And she hasn't brought up Yoru yet. He knows it's a knife, though.
Get him to incriminate himself. Oh, yes. It took me a moment to kind of see what she was going for, but I'm like, oh, I get it.
My mistake. I can see here that, yes, I was misreading the fine details. And it does appear that your fingerprints are not on that knife. Sorry.
You. Oh, dear.
What? What is it?
Oh, I guess we're all just wondering. How long have you known that it was this knife that was used to kill your partner?
What?
Confused? So are these two. Because like you, neither of them were in the courtroom when Dr. Sato updated her autopsy report. So I knew that Chopin was killed with a knife. And the people knew that Chopin was killed with a knife. But how did you know that?
There must have been 50 cops in here with that doctor.
Far fewer than 50, actually. More like 0. We had already emptied the courtroom by then. A courtesy we extended to a blue blood witness.
You. You're some blue blood rat, you. You crazy harpy. Trying to trick me at the last second? You think I walked in here unprepared? No, of course not. She, right there, Rockford, the prosecutor. Before I took the stand, she told me all about the knife.
Ah, so that's your plan.
Right, Rockford? Before I came out here, didn't you?
It's always great to reveal a full house and rake in the pot. It's even better to reveal a handful of shit you bluffed your way to victory with.
Say something already, just say it!
But every now and then a different kind of victory comes along, where you just get to sit back and watch someone else self-destruct. Because they completely misread the dealer.
Say it! Say that you!
Shut up!
What?
Just shut up. Is that so hard? Are my instructions unclear? Do you need me to salute you first? Stop talking. You are completely, utterly, 100% guilty. Why the hell would I perjure myself to help you?
But...
Hey, start counting. Because from this second on, every word that comes out of your mouth adds directly to the number of years you're going to rot in jail. Unless those words are your confession.
He's the Hound of Ikaria! He murders for the mob! We could put him away!
They don't want to put him away. Not for your crime, not for murdering the son of 2 city councilmen. Have you lost your goddamn mind?
But he's a murderer!
Well, not all murderers are created equally.
Well, not all murderers are hunted equally. Neobility assassinating each other, let it ride, keeps them divided. Orcas fighting in the lower wards, let them sort it out, keeps their numbers down. A monster shoots 6 women in the heart and leaves no evidence behind? Call us back when he kills someone important.
Aye.
Strange. Once she's properly infuriated, there's usually no stopping her. Well, she's not going to twist the knife herself. I shouldn't let it go to waste. Your Honor, if the witness is having trouble choosing a place to start for his confession, perhaps I might help by laying out the details for him.
You sadistic bitch!
He was counting on Emma to step in. Now he's sliding down the rocky face of despair, fingernails split and bloody as he attempts in vain to slow the descent. Not very dignified, so I won't leave him hanging. I'll be happy to speed him along. In summary, a week ago, you acquired a blue blood distress signal when you arrested Tanks, but your partner insisted on letting him go and keeping the code to yourselves. So the night of the murder, when the alarm went out, he jumped at the chance to be the first unit on the scene at what could be a gang shootout. You did all you could to stall, but your partner pressed on and even shot open the door in his hurry to get into the locked building. You made up an excuse to keep him on the second floor and proceeded to the third on your own, relieved that everyone was already dead and puzzled by the delirious Sosuke, who you knocked out with one blow to the back of the head. But by calling down to your partner and convinced him that you were already too late, you alerted an orca hiding downstairs, and when they fled out the window and down into the alley, you opened the windows at the crime scene to give chase. While you were scanning the alley from the second floor fire escape, your partner proceeded upstairs, where he was just as stunned as you were, but intrigued by the presence of a dark card you would never recognize. He knew that it pointed towards the involvement of powerful parties. It was simply bad luck that he found the red ink before you, but he must have felt like he won the lottery. He was the one man in the city who'd benefit the most from exposing the corruption it hinted at. He must have been salivating at the opportunity right in front of you, standing in the blood without a second thought. You had taken the knife from Sosuke. Hadn't even thought about it up until that point. You knew once the rest of the force arrived, there would be no stopping the red ink from going on the record. You had one chance to blot it out for good. That's all. That's all a lie. Just smoke and mirrors, tricks and guesswork. Now the Vicaria standing right there next to you. The Blue Bloods themselves even tried to kill him right in front of all of us. No, they didn't. Excuse me? I have it on very good authority the Blue Bloods wouldn't want my client assassinated. Oh, I'm sure. So considering where the shooter was and the direction he was aiming, the only person he could have possibly been aiming at would be, well, you. What the hell are you talking about? Seems like the old guard wanted to make sure there'd be a swift punishment for letting Prop 492 blow up. So you can keep protesting your innocence if you want. It might work out, and you might be able to avoid the next Blue Blood to come after you, and the next after that. You might survive long enough to end up the only casualty in a tragically unavoidable case of friendly fire. Your Blue's coming after you from above and below. Who gets there first is a coin toss, so tell me, are you feeling lucky? Well, you. Any questions? You, this DA. You're. Officer. You're both. You're all out of your damn minds! Told you.
Yep.
Cold read based
you
on
did
who
cold read it instantly. Had he even said a line yet?
No, I don't think so. It's just he looked the type.
Anyway, today's lesson is judge people at first glance.
Hold up. Do you work for the Blue Bloods? Never thought of it that way. Even back when I was a kid, I just thought they were just another institution. Like a neighborhood watch, people looking out for each other. Everyone's parents off working or enlisted or in jail for civil disobedience. Whole neighborhoods that cops, medics, goddamn firemen wouldn't set foot in. Didn't see it as transactional. I thought I was just lending a hand. My blood ain't worth shit. Wasn't useful enough to be a young blood, not good looking enough to be a host. But I kept going to school. They helped me pay for it. And because it was, in fact, transactional, they expected to get something in return. Police Academy, there, man, on the inside. Wasn't as exciting as it sounds. I made sure it wasn't. Test scores sucked, aptitude sucked, clumsy and boring. Made sure no one wanted to give me anything important to do. Valuable enough that the Blue Bloods wouldn't out me. Not valuable enough that the cops would give me anything worth passing on. The world's worst double agent.
So bad at his job he'd never be expected to double-cross anyone. Imagine the look on my face when my reputation for nothingness to be paired up with the worst babysitting job on the force. Tariq Chopin. We were perfectly matched in a way. I didn't want to be near nothing, and nobody wanted to let him near anything. Nothing dangerous enough to get him hurt, nothing real enough that he'd go blabbing to his dad's. We went around to schools, those are the jobs we'd get.
Building security.
Morning assemblies. Telling the kids what cops do, here's how to call for help. We were a goddamn joke.
There are worse things to be.
You think I don't know that? You think I gave a shit that kids were laughing at us at the back of the class? That teens were throwing soda cans at our car? Good for them. At least they were having fun. Tariq was never having fun. He was just burning inside. Humiliation and bile, a stomach full of it. If he hadn't found the code on tanks that day, I don't know. God would have either put in his 2 weeks' notice or just drawn his gun and walked into the nearest Orca mansion.
So when you two arrived at the building...
Happened like the defense attorney said. I told Chopin some bullshit about smelling contraband on the second floor. He started poking around, and I went straight to the third floor because that's where the bosses would hang out back when I was a kid, where they'd give us spare change to buy their groceries and pick up their laundry. Never met this creek or this pod in my life until we stopped at Angkor Tan. Different gens. And I'd never seen anything like the bloodbath in that room. All 4 of the pod were dead when I got there. Believe me, don't believe me, I ain't no hound of Akari, and I don't even think he could have done it either. Considering how he stumbled out of that water closet like a bloody water balloon. I did whack him on the back of the head, but my hand to God, I'm not convinced it did anything. Face down to the blood out like that. Couldn't have woke him up with a nuke. When the hound dropped, I searched him, followed protocol, found that knife in his hand, called down, said everyone was dead. That blue blood bolted, Tariq crawled after them. And yeah, I opened the window and tried to follow. Tariq didn't know the ladder was out. Figured I would chase him down because by the time I stepped back inside, he was upstairs. And I walked up those steps expecting him to be puking, crying, shaking, I don't know. Instead, he starts yelling down. Happy, ecstatic, he can't believe this scoop of the century. And I realize I know what he's talking about. Your blue blood superiors let you know about Prop 492. Lots of people knew the deal with Prop 492. Even non-blooded civvies. Nothing wrong with any of that, as long as it stayed a rumor. As long as the state didn't know we knew where the pillars were going to be built. It was a nice thing, believe it or not. People in the lower wards whispering about big money coming in. A little excitement to look forward to. Tariq was excited, too. All I could see was forward. Barely reading the words in front of his eyes, not giving a shit about anything behind him, not caring about what he was trampling over. I didn't plan on doing anything if it matters. If you care. Moving slow, but I wasn't trying to hide. After taking it off the hound, I saw it still had that knife. That goddamn knife in my hand. You all seem like educated people, so take it none of you all believe in evil. We believe in evil down in the lower wards. It's like a fog. Hangs around certain people, certain places. And it poured off that knife like a water fountain.
The devil made you do it? Haven't heard that one in a while.
If it wasn't for that dark card being there. You know, Tariq told me once, said he wanted to become mayor. I just did the stupid fake laugh and told him he had my vote. I don't know why I did that. I shouldn't have done that.
Laughed at him?
Shouldn't have lied to him.
And so, Your Honor, the people will be dismissing the charge of homicide in the first degree with prejudice.
What does that mean?
They can't charge you with Officer Chopin's murder again at a later date just because they found more evidence.
And the 4 other charges of second-degree homicide. We will be dismissing the 4 charges of second-degree homicide without prejudice.
So she's not quite convinced I couldn't have killed Creek's pod.
Miller's blood having already been on the knife you used to get free in the first place was pretty huge. Combined with Rogers admitting that you basically stumbled out a walking corpse.
But
But the way the state sees it, their murders aren't any more solved than they were at the beginning of the trial. It's to be expected.
Then the jury will be dismissed, this court will be adjourned, and you, Mr. Ikaria, are free to go.
Everything that's happened to you in the last few days. How was that leaving you so shocked?
I'm not shocked. I'm just grateful, counselor. You have my
Your Honor, is there perhaps something else you wanted to say? Well, if you insist, I guess for some reason, even though the jury's been dismissed, and it's actually their job to do this part and the charges were dropped, I have this strong, overwhelming urge to say, not guilty.
Sarah, what did I tell you about making confetti in the courtroom?
It just seemed opportune.
No, that needs to be much bigger. Maybe, I cast ye innocent. No, that sounds dumb.
And it was slowly fading.
Oh, man. Good case. State building. Booth O's. So how do you plan on celebrating?
I don't know.
We won in case you two somehow missed it. And won so definitively that the police and even the Blue Bloods can't hold a grudge.
Right. My apologies. I'm grateful to you, of course. It's just that I still haven't gotten an answer to the question that's been haunting me. Even more so than whether or not I killed Chopin. Someone slaughtered Creek's entire pod, then they had my life in the palm of their hand, and
framed you, Sosuke. I don't think they were doing you any favors.
And yet they did. They let me live. It feels strange owing everything to someone so unknowable.
Well, you have plenty of time to think on it, spending the rest of your life hiding your head in the sand, ignoring the vast riches that sit untapped at a savings account across the sea.
I don't know. He's made his stance quite clear.
I don't intend to hide, Morgan. The Blue Bloods can try whatever they like. And they can find me standing right where I've always stood, protecting my family.
Seems like there's someone who'd like to speak with you about just that.
Sosuke. Mako. Young Master. Please forgive me, young master. I've failed you repeatedly. I'll accept any punishment. Very well. 108 years of manual labor.
Oh! Yeah, that's about as merciful as I expected. At least you picked a good number.
100 and... Of course, young master. You'll need to spend that sentence serving as my head of security, so that I know you're actually doing it, and that means you won't be able to do other jobs anymore. Even ones that the elders ask you to do. Even delivering messages. It's a punishment handed down by the heir to the noble house Ikaria, Sosuke. Who could possibly overrule it? As you say. I'll start right away if you don't mind. That is probably wise.
Oh, that's actually kind of really sweet in a way.
Grandfather is outside in the motorcade and he's had nothing but criticisms for the current formation. The chairman is here. He came here?
Probably just happened to be on his way to the airport.
He is, Counselor Morgan, surprisingly astute of you. Though he is leaving quite early if he just wants to get to the airport. None of our private planes are even fueled.
Seems to be a universal truth that old people like to get to the airport early.
That sounds very wise, Sarah of House Père Aligal. Who are you quoting? Then if you'll excuse me for a moment, Counselor.
Yeah, feel free to, take Sarah with you, please.
Pardon?
If you don't let her look at your tattoo now, I will never hear the end of it.
Yes, well, that's, Right then, I'll, find a corner in which to lift up my shirt.
Un instant.
Congratulations, Counselor. You succeeded on all fronts.
Thank you.
Not satisfied? Makoto seems to be in a good mood. If you ask him for a bonus now...
Shouldn't I just negotiate with my employer directly? You're the one who hired me, aren't you? At the very least, you're the one who put my name forward to Makoto. It's easy to see looking back. You're the only one who acted in Sosuke's interest this entire time. Who isn't a child.
And what of it?
Why me?
Why does it matter?
Because I value my privacy. I want to know why a woman with your resources will put an ant like me under her magnifying glass.
Such cruel metaphors you employ.
I know what happens when you put on your magic red hat and get your guitar out. I know you're really Eno.
Someone who values their privacy that much should, in the future, avoid directly confronting the board of multinational corporations.
Noble's board of directors? You were...
Not among them myself. But when one woman shifts the opinion of a room that stagnant, even by a millimeter, word gets around.
Huh.
My, you really are a shy little girl. No putting the genie back in the bottle, but I won't recommend you to anyone else if it bothers you that much.
Thank you. Though you can't be pretty shy yourself, letting Makoto take all the credit. Why the subterfuge?
I've already overextended myself in this matter. A woman from my side of the house, intruding upon the IFG's business. I don't mind that I'll have to rip out fingernails in front of the elders as recompense, but I thought I might spare myself the additional pinky or so.
You're being literal, aren't you?
Disobedience always has a cost. Especially in old families. Especially for daughters. But not flinching as you pay the toll carries its own kind of power, don't you think? Maybe I'm just trying to dress up my cowardice as dignity. Disobedience used to come naturally to me. It gets harder the older you get. Harder to believe your independence wasn't just immaturity. That's why I'm glad Makoto's such a good boy. I don't want him to feel any guilt later in life.
Yes, Makoto certainly, takes his responsibilities seriously.
Can't imagine where he gets it from. I was such a hellraiser.
He must get it from his father.
I suppose...
It's an interesting mark below Sosuke's eye. Looks like a mole, but seems to be hereditary. Does Makoto know that Sosuke is his father? Does Sosuke?
I would be very disappointed in Sosuke's intelligence if he didn't.
And that's why Sosuke left the family to join the military, wasn't it? Why he has to become the Hound when he came back. Self-imposed exile for interfering in your arranged marriage.
Interfering? We were younger then, but we still knew what we were doing. We knew there was no stopping the marriage. If we didn't cover up the pregnancy, others would. Or just eliminate the problem themselves. Sosuke left before the bridal shower, a sudden enlistment certainly, but I don't blame him for not wanting to be there on guard duty as I married another man.
If Makoto is Sosuke's son, though, that means he carries his blood. If he stands to inherit from both his father and his mother, his worth.
I understand this is going to be hard for you to believe coming from a woman like me, but Makoto's already worth enough. He has his health. He has his mother. And his father will always be close by. Every moment we've shared as a family is worth its weight in gold. And as you've now seen, when given the opportunity to choose between Makoto and the Blue Blood fortune, Sosuke chose the former.
You, all of you, you could have it all. Why don't you want it all?
We already have it. I see. You don't understand, do you? I hope you do someday.
Let's get back to something I do fully understand then. Bargaining. One blood test from Makoto could split your precious house right down the middle. Your husband will be infuriated assuming he has a pulse, and whatever connections you married him for will burn up in seconds. So unless you guarantee me that I'm free to turn down any job.
Don't make unnecessary threats, counselor. It makes you look weak. Take it from someone with experience, you're always free to leave the house. But if you find yourself slinking back, don't be too hard on yourself about it. It's just what the house does. Now, would you excuse me?
They do say the house always wins.
Sosuke seems to have satisfied your companion's curiosity for the time being, and it's very rare for him to have any time to himself. You don't understand, do you?
Counselor Morgan,
Emma.
what's that look for?
So that's 2 wins for me now, isn't it?
After Rogers went nuts and perjured himself all over the place, you're calling that shitstorm a win?
It definitely wasn't a loss.
You're ridiculous.
Thanks, by the way, for letting things play out as long as they did. Imagine you wanted to put the brakes on things a number of times back there. But now that it's all out, my client won't be getting knifed by cops or blue bloods. At least not for anything he didn't do.
You think I was happy to let the Hound of Icaria walk out of my courtroom?
Your courtroom? We'll have to have a word with the adjutant.
Please don't. But yes, I had my doubts. The OC unit has been getting a number of odd reports in the last 24 hours, truth be told.
What do you mean?
Bursts of anonymous tips about figures in red being spotted around Creek's place before and after the killings.
Figures in red.
That's right, the Rust.
Ah, right, the Rust.
I don't like the timing, but it's not as if OC can ignore the idea altogether. Someone killed those 4, and it wasn't Sosuke or Rogers.
If you don't like the Rust for it, where's your head at?
Whoever killed Creek's pod did it with such unhinged brutality, and yet it was executed with precision so cold-blooded that they managed to virtually erase their presence from the scene afterwards.
Yeah.
Tanks and Creek were both shot from fairly close range and near enough to their solar plexuses.
I suppose.
Bashing Trey's skull in was overkill, yes, but it was the safest way to erase anything his mods may have recorded. And even if it was an afterthought, that overcorrection is in line with perfectionism interrupted by... Oh, forget it. I'm seeing things that aren't there. First sign of obsession.
Okay, so she is aware of it. I got it. Okay. Obsession?
I'm jealous. You seem like you never let anything get to you. It's unpleasant, you know, feeling like you're possessed by something. Or someone.
Huh.
Oh, well, if it was easy to wrest control back, it wouldn't be an obsession.
So she is letting it get to her a little bit. Okay. I'm interested
But
to
she's
see-
also right.
She's also right, but she's also aware that how ridiculous that sounds just out of nowhere, right?
Just puppy love. Oh, that's me. Gotta take this call. See you around, Morgan.
Yeah, see you around.
Just don't go telling anyone that was a win, or I'll have you arrested for spreading misinformation.
You can't keep threatening me with a good time, Emma. Well, we can't have that.
Okay, Morgan, I've fulfilled my obligation to Sarah now, so...
So now you can buy me a goddamn drink.
Pardon?
You can start your 108-year sentence tomorrow. I've got some paperwork we need to go through before then, and I don't want to do it sober.
Oh, you're serious.
Of course I am. Everyone knows it's tradition for a client to buy their lawyer a drink after beating charges like this. And in this city, they take them to this one special bar, Kintsugi.
I've never heard of that tradition. Or that bar.
Yes, well, you've lived a very sheltered life under the roof of House Icaria, but I forgive your ignorance. Time for you to put the fat wallet you've been accruing that whole time to good use.
I suppose I do owe you a great deal. Very well. But first I must inform Lady Mire and the young master.
Go right ahead. Be my guest.
What was that, Adonai? Did you want to get a look at Sosuke's tattoo as well?
I'll take a rain check.
Sosuke seems much more animated this afternoon, don't you think? Did you say something to him?
No. I didn't do anything.
I see. Then perhaps his injuries were just taxing him more than we realized.
Yeah, that must be it.
That's genuinely weirdly sweet.
Yeah?
I think we're almost done with this. You want to keep going?
Sure.
All right.
It had been threatening to rain all day. Gray skies spanning a slate blue world. It was cold, and all the heaters were humming in their rush to overcorrect for it. At 3, raindrops started hitting the windowsills. Not a problem, she had her umbrella. At 3:15, the adults started leaning back in their chairs. Watches and phones were being checked. They were preparing to leave. At 3:24, another topic is brought up. The gathering resigns themselves to a continuation. It's 3:45 by the time the girl is able to excuse herself. She has 15 minutes to get back to school. Hardly impossible on foot if she hurried. But she could have asked to be driven there. For some reason, the thought never crossed her mind. She hesitates at the door. She'd left her umbrella behind, back upstairs. It's not like her to be so absent-minded. The smart thing to do would be to go back up and get it. It's 3:49. At 3:51, she is jogging, a non-committal yet still undignified rush. When she sees the time on her phone roll over to 3:52, she starts to run. She hates running. A small part of her considers sending a text. She'd never been the one to text first. Come to think of it, she'd never been the one to text second. She only had one number in her phone's contacts, after all. At 3:56, the school gates are in sight. Her eyes had been straining to see them. She wasn't looking down. Her knees stung in a shallow, sharp way. The palms of her hands were embedded with specks of gravel where she caught herself. Rain-diluted blood ran faintly down her leg as she dripped water onto the mundanely tiled floors of the hallway. At 3:59, she pauses to at least catch her breath before sliding the door open. If her heart hadn't been beating so loudly in her ears, she would have easily heard the voices behind it.
Where do you even come up with this stuff? Hey, I can't promise it's going to be that exciting every week around here, but... Oh. Now we have...
What are you? I thought you had a family thing. Oh, no, that was them talking to her.
Oh shit, are you okay? What happened? You're soaked and...
I thought... Who are all...
We're the Mystery Club. Name pending, I hope. I was told the name could change. So this is swapped. This is swapped. We thought this was her trying to start the Mystery Club, and she wasn't.
You want to be the person?
Yeah. You were right, Ev. I just went around to people on campus and tried being friendly, being myself, and people started signing up. But forget that. Your knee.
It's fine.
You must be freezing. Let me give you my coat. Screw it. I'll just carry you to the nurse myself.
Stop.
Ma'am, this girl just showed up and she's bleeding. What? Bleeding? Everyone, stand back. Where is she? Who? What's her name? I don't know. I don't think I've seen her before. You, girl, come with me. I'm taking you to the infirmary. Ma'am, she's cold. That's very nice of you, but it's not sanitary to share uniforms. Stay here and wait for the floors to be cleaned. Ev,
Don't worry about it. I can walk on my own.
And with a little sprinkle of salt just along the edge.
I think I broached that at one point. Like, yeah, we don't know for sure. This could be they're swapped. Why would we assume that?
Yep, you did.
God damn it. I just keep being right. I'm sick of winning over here.
There you have it. Oh, that looks wonderful, thank you. Of course, let me know if you need anything else.
Getting Diamante set up to be the fucking mob bar.
I must admit, Morgan, this is quite a fine establishment, and so exclusive. The whole staff here on hand just to attend to the two of us. I can't imagine what the waiting list must be like.
Right? Lucky for you, you got a man working on the inside.
I can assure you a table at any time, Sosuke.
You or any of your housemates ever need a quiet spot to lay low from the judging eyes of high society? Now you know where to send them.
I might do just that.
Haha.
And these prices, so reasonable. Shit, knew I should have gone with the digital menus.
Hey, Sosuke. That name they have for you, the Hound. That a title you were given or just part of the mantle you chose to take up?
No, I was called that long before I started delivering messages. Long before I got my tattoo. Truth be told, I'm not sure where it came from or when people started using it. Childhood nickname, I suppose.
Earned by following Mireille around like a puppy?
I never, who told you Mireille was the heir when we were...
It's a miracle you didn't break under torture, you know that? The Hound of Icaria. So everyone called you a dog when you were a kid.
Jokingly, lovingly.
Mirai's right. I don't know anything about, presumably, love.
Mhm.
One of the many things I've long since acknowledged that I'm missing. But obsession? Addiction? Those are easy enough to grasp. I've rolled the dice plenty of times by now. There are no demons haunting me, no other drivers in the car. Just me, sitting in the dark with a hole in my chest. When it's hungry, I feed it. But it'll never be full. Because the hole was there first. And it built a girl around itself so it would have a place to hide. How can you tell?
Hmm?
That they called you that lovingly?
I suppose you never know. You just trust. And if you do trust, then that's your answer. And besides, what's insulting about being compared to a dog? Everyone loves dogs. Probably even you.
For your information, I like dogs just fine, Sosuke. But I could never live as one. Everyone's already collared in this world. Tagged, labeled, classified, put in a box. But even so, I refuse to sit at the end of someone's leash. Better to remain astray. Aww! What a great time this was.
Yeah.
God, I love this series so much. Featuring music by Lena Raine. Did you see that?
Okay. That explains a lot.
Yeah. Oh, man. What a good time. Oh, so many special thanks. So many special thanks.
Hey, and you the players.
Oh, shit. That's us.
The players.
Oh, shit. It's me. I'm players. His due. Aww.
Drunk Sosuke showing off his family photos.
What's really missing in the CG is Sarah kind of going like, ah, ah. Good for you. Oh,
Morg just cringing.
you know what? Good for you, you mob assassin, you. I wasn't out looking for anything in particular. The rest give me and the others food and stuff and telling them where the blues go and who they talk to. My shoes have been feeling too small, and the blue guys in that building had been really busy lately. Thought if I hung around there I might see something the rest would give me new shoes for. But I never saw anything worth anything.
So you gave up.
No. I got scared.
What scared you?
You wouldn't believe me. No one believes me. Everyone says I'm a liar.
Everyone says I'm a liar too.
Are you?
I can't remember. You see, somebody took something that belonged to me. I don't feel right without it. But I think you could help me find it.
What'd you lose?
My face.
I saw the red hood. Except she was a lady, not a girl. And she didn't have her hood up. I didn't get a good look at her face, but she was all red.
Red hair.
And pronouns. What is this?
Gold.
Thank you. But are you sure I wasn't any help?
You've been a huge help. Now I know to look for red hair. I've tracked more elusive prey with less.
Quoting scripture.
Episode 3.
Is that a phrase about the devil quoting scripture? Quoting scripture at the devil?
Maybe.
That one I'm not familiar with. Got all the articles, we got all the profiles, we got all the key terms, and all the evidence. Congrats! Hey! Excellent! Hold on. This is the most important thing we can do right now.
Yeah?
Hold on. What else we got? Angie. Oh! That's cute. Oh, these are cute. Hold on. Oh, we didn't.
Oh, we can't get Sarah on the clock. Or Ray is undercover and you can see bunny ears.
Sato stuck. I think we've got almost everything now. Except for the high
Dang.
roller ones. Yep. Do we want to keep Morgan time? Or no, Neko Morg. For sure, Neko Morg. There's going to be a recording break here. I don't know if it's going to be its own episode or not, but we will do the bonus scenarios for episode 2.
Yeah.
So either see you in a bit or see you next time. Welcome. I don't know if this is its own episode or not, but it's a bit. It's a thing. We got concept art, we got bonus scenarios, we got everything. Also, something that occurred to me after we stopped recording. So that means that Morgan wasn't originally the one who wanted to be a lawyer,
Huh.
right? Because the perspectives were shifted.
Yeah.
So she was the one who. So who was that cool kid she was talking to when she was younger? And is she gonna look suspiciously Emma-like? That part is just a guess, but you know.
That'd be so fun if it's like, oh yeah, I gotta create mysteries for you.
She clearly cared enough to try to run back there, right? But
Yeah.
All right, survey household. My network files capture video interviews Ikaria.vid. Begin playback.
So why rubbing alcohol specifically?
Nostalgia. Reminds me of days spent bandaging scratched knees and blistered knuckles.
You did that for Makoto?
No. Some other boy who was always overexerting himself. I like the smell of blood for the same reason.
Oh.
And antiseptic. And scalpels. That boy was always so hardy, he made for the perfect test subject.
Test subject?
I still think about finishing my medical degree sometimes.
I don't think they let you smoke in there.
But I feel like my hobby would lose some of its therapeutic value if I did.
And what hobby is that?
Poison making. What's with that reaction?
You made it sound very intimidating just now.
Oh, I was trying to make it sound exciting.
Am I meant to be threatened or awed?
If I tell people I'm interested in herbal remedies, they all think I'm a dreadful bore. Or worse, that I'm going to try and sell them candles. Well said. Very well said indeed. You have a much finer appreciation for these things than your so-called superior, you know. I make countless immaculately thought-out references to Hegel and Ozymandias. And that red woman stares at me as if I'm quoting comic books at her.
Comic books can be good too.
Comics are for children. Are you a child?
What about graphic novels?
What is a graphic novel?
One P, for example.
Oh, Wan P. Who's your favorite?
Oh, Makoto.
So why list King Arthur alongside those other historical figures?
Arthur was based on multiple historical figures, I'll have you know. But even if his exploits are not factual, it still stands that he united a divided people and defended his homeland from barbarism.
He also met fairies and wizards and fought dragons.
I know, impressive, wouldn't you say?
Also, I've seen some interesting revisionist history stuff about King Arthur. You'll never believe it. Very much so.
The Once and Future King was one of the first books I read all on my own.
That's quite impressive.
The vocabulary was, I'll admit, difficult at times, but I was reading a version with handwritten annotations, so I managed just fine.
There was writing in the margins? Like a hand-me-down?
Hand-me-downs are for peasants who can't afford anything better.
Was it given to you by an older family member?
Yes, but it was not handed down to me, you see.
Oh,
And I went on to annotate it further myself, so that I might someday pass it on to some other reader.
you've got a weird set of complexes, you know that?
So tell me, does that sound like a hand-me-down to you?
Yes.
You got until I finish smoking this. Or until I get bored.
Very well.
And I get bored fast.
Oh, well, if our time is limited, perhaps we should focus on the topic of singular importance, such as Athletics.
And just like that, I knew he was gassed. Lowered my frame and flipped him out of the ring in one motion. An overwhelming trampling victory. Best kind there is.
I can imagine.
Oh, you done any wrestling, any MMA yourself, little copper?
Not physically, no. It's difficult to find partners who are a good match for my build.
Sounds like an excuse to me. You sure you ain't just scared?
Confrontations can be intimidating, but sports are not arguments. They're a pure expression of noble competitive spirit.
Huh.
That is to say, I would never back down from a challenge.
Ho ho! Well said, well said. I know exactly what you mean. When you lock eyes, there's nothing else that needs to be said.
I agree.
So what'll it be? Arm wrestling? Sumo, chess, boxing?
Why not all three?
Good, very good, you little...
Sir,
What is it? Can't you see I'm in the middle of... Well, what is it?
the VTOL needs to leave now if we're to be on time, sir.
Huh. Here's a quote, then, for your little survey, copper. Success can be a prison. But even in a cell, a man who's mastered himself remains a lord.
I'm not sure I understand that one.
Yeah, what the hell? Makotan said that it made perfect sense.
And then you engage.
I see.
So you need me to stand here and film the two of you because... Why?
Because Sosuke is teaching me how to do a 1-inch punch, and I need it recorded from a distance in order to practice it later.
Why? Are you planning to get kill billed or something?
Because she asked me very politely, Morgan. What more do you want?
No, why do you need to know this, Sarah?
Adonai, surely you can intuit the advantages of a 1-inch punch. Because there's no windup, you can execute it without telegraphing your move to your opponent. And deliver maximum force to a critical weak point, even in the tightest of close quarters combat. Not to mention if the opponent has triggered any loser flags, your damage will double for each of them.
What Sarah means is that an opponent who's overconfident is likely to leave themselves open at a vital moment, Morgan. And that's not incorrect.
Right. Well, I don't know anything about close quarters combat or loser flags, but I do understand basic physics.
Adonai?
And so I can state this much with complete and utter certainty.
Hey,
When performed by the same person,
hey,
all else being equal,
stop.
a 1-inch punch will never be more effective than just throwing a normal one.
That can't be true.
Why would you?
Am I wrong?
You didn't have to say it in red. There was no need for you to say it like that.
How am I the bad guy here? Again, are you planning on getting kill billed?
The fact that you can even say that is...
Oh, It's not like any rules about human martial arts apply to androids in the first place, right?
That is true.
See? Perfect, Ukemi. When did they learn how to speak in red?
Yeah.
First Sarah speaking in brackets, and now she learned how to speak in red? Even Morgan's got it.
Can't believe the red truth is now at play.
Survey workplace. All right. Interviews blueblood.vid.
Throwing out flowers, it always depresses me actually putting them in the bin. So they end up just withering around my place. I might have some kind of record for number of flowers killed at this point.
How do you buy so many flowers?
I don't buy them, I get sent them, and chocolates and wine and lockets of hair. Sometimes all mixed together. How these people even know where to... Mama? What?
What? Wait.
Oh.
Was I Mama?
Oh yeah.
What? You give anybody my...
No.
I don't...
You give anybody my address?
Ugh, what the hell kind of question is that?
How did they get my address then?
Maybe if you stop putting your personal contacts on your business cards, you wouldn't be so easy to find.
So now, if a woman's friendly, she deserves to get stalked? Not very forward of you, Mama.
Forward? Do you think I don't know about forward? You brats don't know shit about political correctness. When I was your age, we'd list...
She's gonna go on for a while if you need to save battery or data or whatever.
So this is where you previously worked?
Yeah, I was what they call a #1 gal.
And that involved people buying you lots of drinks.
Selling dreams.
It sounds like a very nice way to make a living.
Nah, it's pretty mean.
What are you doing there anyway? You gloating? I don't remember what voice I gave Kim. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. If you're not going to come back, don't lounge around. Your old fans will get the wrong idea.
Come on, Mama, I'm just sitting here.
And a crowd is already gathering.
My bad.
Did you ever consider making a return?
Nah, I didn't hate it, don't feel ashamed of it or the people I met doing it. Even if some of them are nagging grumps.
Keep it up and I'm handing you a mop.
But I want to be moving up, you know, always up. And the only places up from here are those cloud palaces where the courtesans lounge on golden couches and get fed grapes or whatever. Big gap from here to up there, and there's no footholds. Either you make it all the way, or you fall. Need a little more security in my income than that. Plus, working in security, I get paid to punch the teeth out of handsy assholes. Not even the most powerful courtesan in the city gets to enjoy that feeling.
Without getting into more detail than you'd be comfortable with, what are your how high is Mrs. Kim in the organization's leadership?
Pretty high.
But she also works here as a...
Manager.
So does she need to?
We're not as rich as the Icaria or insane as the Rust. We all gotta work if we want to eat, leadership included.
I see. But even so, this workplace seems very high energy for someone of her,
Age? I think she's comfortable here. She married into the Blue Bloods, you know, and the pictures of her I've seen, the vibe I get, I think she was kind of a trophy wife.
Oh,
Her husband's whole family dying, leaving her in charge. She got burned on that deal. But she handled it, obviously. And I can't name any other old guard I could tolerate hosting under.
The hell are you whispering over there?
Not whispering anything, Mama. Your hearing's just gone to shit.
He's my brother-in-law's illegitimate son. Had his mistress give birth at the manor, as he was afraid if she went to the hospital the paparazzi might notice. Of course, as it turned out, that was the least of our worries that night.
I could pass a message to him if you like.
How the hell would I even say? We're already dangling literally all the money we can in front of him. And he's not taking the bait.
I didn't mean another offer. Thought you might want to pass on a more personal sentiment.
Ha! Bad chance. We don't share any blood, we never met, and if the fox asked him to kill me, he wouldn't blink.
I think that Sosuke would blink.
Give it up. Sosuke and I aren't family, little girl. But if you wanted to be family. Forget this shit. I got a job to get back to. Look away for 5 seconds and all the talent around here devolves back into high school drama addicts. She took my locker. He stole my deodorant.
No one can deny your work ethic, Mrs. Kim.
Thanks. I know. You still got to pay for a full hour's worth of that booth.
But hadn't I be upset if I put it under her name?
And then Morgan sees it and just immediately moves it to the Makoto billing pile. Recovered session. What is this?
Encore Tan.
My files Encore T, private campaign backup session 013. Begin playback. All right, it's recording.
Tanks, do you have to record this?
I don't record it. Creek will ask me for notes when he doesn't remember any of it next week. My God, are they playing D&D?
Guilty as charged. Do you have to video record it?
It's fine, Miller. Also, I don't know how to do it, so it's just audio.
What's up, Trey? Eyes bothering you again? Huh? Are they flickering? No, but you're staring a hole in the wall. Oh, I was just thinking, like, are we cyberpunk? I think we qualify, yeah, but we can go get you some felonies if you're feeling... No, I mean, like, culturally, is this cyberpunk? What do you mean? Just dice and paper. Easy entertainment that can't be bugged or tracked. Perfect way to fight Big Brother, don't you think? Yeah, but we could do cards or something, too. You think playing Go Fish is cyberpunk? Well, no, but like a tabletop RPG?
That's what you're on about? I'll be real, you sound dumb as shit right now, man.
Huh?
There's literally nothing more cyberpunk than a tabletop RPG.
He's got a point. Learn your history, Trey.
Now pay attention. As you approach the town's walls, swords clanging against shields ring out. Voices rise and arrows are loosed. You stumbled upon the closing acts of a fierce battle, and it's clear the players intend to let it play out to its natural conclusion. Up on the parapet's a stern, horned woman, her long, proud hair slicked with the same blood that drips down her brow, spots you. Her eyes go wide. She doesn't seem pleased to see you.
She thinks we're like enemy reinforcements? We kinda are. We got a charter from the dukedom to protect its people, and the horned guys are all foreigners. Can't we ignore that? If I break an oath, my build is screwed. Oh. I have a telekinesis, right? You gonna toss her off the wall? What? Noah, talk to her. What's the spell?
You have a telepathy talent, if that's what you're asking.
Right, okay, I use telepathy.
Roll the die.
I got a 14.
Huh, okay. Skimming the surface of your mind, you see visions of allies cut down and civilians fired upon. Her skull is teeming with rage and despair at what this brazen defilement of the rules of war.
Oh shit, this is a Hornling village and she's under attack. Tough luck, you've got an oath. Yeah, but if I ignore the plight of the innocent, my build is screwed. Paladins have it rough. Well, can we get inside?
The woman is injured but not beaten. Within a few paces of her lies the lever that opens the gate. She eyes you and readjusts her grip on her club. She is seriously considering destroying the device to prevent you from entering.
Can she hear me?
Yeah, she can.
Okay, I use persuasion. We're cool, lady. 19. Every time.
Ugh, how do I even? Are you sure your dice aren't weighted, Creek? All right, hold on. Taken back by your earnest appeal, she spots a glimmer of hope in your arrival, and betting on that hope, she throws open the gates for you.
Creek, do you have different dice than the rest of us? What'd we come here for again?
Rumors of a powerful necromantic tome in the area drew you towards the supposed final resting place of Elspeth, the Never Dying.
Okay, persuasion. I ask the lady where Elspeth's tome is.
Tomb.
Tomb is 20. That's not even...
Well, she is at first taken aback by your abrupt change of topic. Your, clever wording subtly hints that the idea that Elspeth's crypt might have a weapon powerful enough to drive off her villagers' raiders for good. The elders used to frighten us with tales of Elspeth's might to get us to behave. I remember my dad would tell us that she'd rise up from under the town church if we didn't do our chores.
I love that Creek's character is a charisma build and doing really good at persuasion, while Creek is not good at role-playing a persuasive person, which is why I can never, ever, ever play charisma builds, even though mechanically they tend to be the coolest and the ones I'm most interested in doing.
He's just rolling up, pulling a Beardsley 20 and walking away from the damage.
I can only play int or whiz based builds. I have to dump charisma if I'm going to accomplish anything at the table.
Charisma is the hardest stat to be informed. You know what?
Yep.
Especially in a role-playing game.
Okay, so the dungeon's in the church.
But of course, the church is locked down and full of our women and children, along with the sick and elderly. We never risk their safety by opening the church doors while this battle yet rages.
Well, yeah, but I can just pick the lock, right? Come on, you always do this. Do what? You always luck your way out of the battles, and then we get beat up for 15 turns. I come back to revive you, don't I?
I don't think you've even lost HP yet. I'm playing smart, avoiding conflict.
Avoiding all the scenarios I set up, too.
All right. I'll, throw a knife at one of the raiders. 19. Seriously?
The knife, hits him right in his eye and he dies instantly. Dropping the keg of burn jelly, he was rushing toward the nearest fortification.
Wait. That's me. That's my guy right near. He dropped a bomb? I have 3 charges of valorous interception. I can shield you. So, the Hornlings in this village are legal citizens? I thought they were all foreign to this land. This village is lorded over by vampires, though, remember? So, you wouldn't want to live here. It's like a shit town or a ghetto for immigrants or whatever. How's that work? Why is the Duke cool with vampires?
It's all legal. The Hornlings just pay blood taxes instead of gold for their lord's protection.
So they got vampires here, too. Can we go in the castle and kill the vampire lords?
I mean, you can do whatever, but the vampire clan is the legal protectorate in the area, so you would be committing a crime.
Is your build screwed if you commit a crime, Miller? I think if it's like the right thing to do, it doesn't break any oaths. So is killing the vampire lords the right thing to do? Kinda subjective. Oof, not what you want to hear from your good guy. Well, I'm not a good guy, I'm only playing as one. So, tanks, if we charge into the castle, it's probably filled with traps and guards and shit, right?
I ain't gonna tell you.
Come on.
Look, it's a castle. There'll be defenses and shit. Yeah, for sure.
I'm game. Hornlings seem cool. Let's go kill some landlords. After the fight we just went through, we just rested. Yeah, but you just did like 5 nat 20s in one encounter. I think you might be burning through all your luck. I'm happy to burn through all my luck if it means getting to kill some bloodsuckers with you boys.
Aw, that's sweet. Thanks, Creek. But also, you were literally out of change of fortune charges.
We just rested. It was a short rest, though. Damn. Reality's cruel.
Oh, that's really... I like that. That's very poignant.
Yeah.
Especially knowing how the vampires relate to their Creek especially, right?
Yep.
Being the blood bag. Deleted call and received call.
Public, police, static, personal, mobile, 251-82114, cap, audio, 180886.
Citing, witness statement, anonymous report, emergency call from a burner. What is all this? Why are all these tips getting reported all of a sudden after the trial's over? It smells, right? What do you mean? All this new info coming in surrounding Creek's pod, and all of it pointing toward the rust for some reason. You don't buy it? Of course I don't buy it. So, you think the Ikari are trying to point fingers at the rust after Sosuke's been proven innocent? Well, no, that doesn't make much sense. But someone's trying to pull something. If the Blue Bloods are the victims and you eliminate the Ikaria, that just leaves the rust. But why would they want to misdirect attention onto themselves? I don't know, I guess it can't be them doing it. But gang wars have winners and losers, right? Someone stands to benefit from pitting the Reds versus the Blues. True, but finding that someone is a task that even OC would struggle with. And we got our own hands full. With what? Sorting through all these false confessions and love letters addressed to Heartbreak? Prep for the convention. Chief wants everything to shine.
Ooh, I wonder if that's going to be part of the backdrop for the next episode.
I bet.
We got the article about that earlier, very early in the...
Yep.
But
Grin and bear it. Any hair out of place in the private sector will.
phone call? Yeah, it's a family thing. Would you excuse me? No, it's fine. I need some air anyway. Hello?
Whoa! Hey, wasn't sure you'd pick up.
Who is this?
I don't know. We don't know yet.
Why wouldn't I pick up for my adorable nephew?
What is this? Am I on speaker? We gotta stick to code names.
No, I'm just gonna have to delete all this later. Thanks for that. Why would you call me on this line?
It's the only number I have. You haven't exactly kept in touch.
I don't...
Relax, man. It's a joke. Remember those? Used to be good at them.
Yeah, I remember. I never took anything seriously.
Only way to live.
I hope you don't mean that.
Do I hear a teaching moment coming on? It's like riding a bike for you.
Why call me now?
Take a guess.
Oh, you can't, You're serious? You're the one trying to take credit for Creek's pod.
Waste not, want not. No one else seemed interested in it.
Hey, nephew.
Yes, sir.
What the fuck are you thinking? The Blue Bloods will drown you. You think you have numbers? Well, they have unity.
A lot less unity than they did a week ago. Creek was a flickering light bulb of low-quality hope for the Youngbloods. I extinguished that, and the old guard haven't even tried to retaliate. If I were a Youngblood, I'd start feeling pretty damn disposable right about now.
You want to start a civil war, that's on your head, but taking credit for kills you didn't earn sounds like a pretty dumb way to spark it.
Fake it if you ever want to make it. Don't worry, the Youngbloods will start seeing some very real casualties soon enough.
Don't do this. This is Do you even have permission from...
Now that's low. You of all people threatening to tell Mom. 'Cause I'm taking initiative? 'Cause I'm stirring a pot that's stone cold? You want to act your age, urge caution, pray 3 times a day to the status quo? Go right ahead. I'm gonna move. Sorry. Didn't call to argue. This was a courtesy call. Thought you might appreciate a warning about all the smoke that'll get blown up your ass over the next few weeks.
Thanks, but I'm not so old I can't recognize bullshit when I smell it.
That's good. That's good. Glad to hear you're still sharp.
Besides, I'm not an OC anyway.
You went back to arson. You're not still an homicide, are you? I thought that was like a sabbatical.
Nope.
That sucks. All the guys who are in OC, and I don't like any of them.
Sounds like they're doing their jobs then.
Sure.
Hey, listen, I didn't mean to drop contact.
Don't worry about it. You picked up when I called. That's all anyone can ever do, right?
Bare minimum.
Yeah, well, not like I could invite you over for dinner.
I guess not. Don't do anything that'll get you killed.
Damn, you're full of good advice today. Got the fortune cookies afraid for their job security.
I mean it. Don't do anything that'll get you killed.
Oh, there it is, the double emphasis. What you used to always say? Redundancy, right? I remember. Believe it or not, I took every lesson to heart.
Interesting. So he has a connection in the Rust that he's known for a long time and refers to as a nephew, even though that might not be the case.
The nephew and a mom.
Yeah, it's...
Yep. Interesting.
Huh.
And it does sound like that's going to come to a head soon as well. And one more. Let's see what we got here. Pub Judicial Handheld Personal Mobile Rockford E 160886. Begin playback.
Hey, no, I'm glad you called. I could use some decompression. Well, I just had a loss, but don't tell anyone I called it that. Thanks, it'd be the death of me if it ever got out. Yeah, no, I read the story, well, what I could. Was kind of hard to read anything in between the editorializing. Right, if it gets you the resources, who cares? I don't know at this point. If I can be conspiratorial for a second, I'm not sure they want Heartbreak caught. But that's going a bit far. It's more like, so long as Heartbreak's out there, they want to take advantage of the moment. People are scared because of Heartbreak. The state thrives on fear. Some of the radicals are getting bold. The state will relish the chance to draw them out. Maybe after the election. No, that's okay. I've thought about it myself. I just don't want to go that path if I don't have to, you know? Still got my pride. Really? Wow, they're taking it pretty seriously then. Reflects their priorities, of course. Data's their lifeblood. No, I mean, that's great. How long will you be in town? Yeah, I'm excited to finally meet in person. We should get dinner. Uh-huh, yeah, definitely. Sorry if you were hoping for that kind of excitement, but no. There's no jealous ex in the picture for you to worry about. I think you'll be fine.
I don't know what to make of these.
Yeah, huh.
These little tantalizing threads for the next step. I guess this is kind of like a next time on. Oh man. Anything else? Oh yeah, we did get some new concept art. Let's see. Which I believe starts.
The lower wards.
I like the one where I can see a bit more, so I can kind of see what's happening here.
Yep.
The darkness of the just made it hard for me, because I know there's a canopy up there and I know there's stuff supporting it, but you just can't see it from this. And maybe that's part of the point, but it just looks like a city street at night, a back street at night. Yeah.
Oh, hey, it's Diamani.
Yay, Reinhardt. Looking good as always, my guy. Creek's jacket that says
Creek's jacket says Creek.
On the back. Made man. And the it's got
Wait, Made Man, but not MADE, MAID.
Yep.
I love that.
And a blue tiger. And yep, there's the inconspicuous little. It was a good move putting another tattoo in view, so that way it kind of distracted from the presence of the other one.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, dude's got a lot of ink. You know, probably don't need to look that much into it. Trey, I don't know what your jam is, but I don't know. You seem tired at all times.
Nice crop top, though.
The crop top is real nice. I like that crop top. That's a real good look. We got here Miller and Tanks. Are those clear, like, zip-up things just, like... Can you just go to, like, I don't know, a department store and get those in bulk?
Maybe. I do appreciate Heaven Smiles' commitment to never smile.
Yeah, I mean, if you were named Smiles, I don't
You'd
think...
have to turn into who Miller turned into.
Yeah. And there's Tanks, the GM. What we got here? Creek's office and torture room. Interesting. That looks about right. I still don't know what how else you would justify the two-ended shower like that. It's a good set piece, but like I don't know how under what other circumstances one would get something like that. Hello. Look at you and all your... I still don't know what to make of Makoto's outfit.
The sweater vest with the Japanese style outfit combined.
Yeah, it's a decision. Although they share a hair color, you know, like I can see it a little bit. Oh dang, that could have been blue. I like the kind of like wispy white they went with.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like clearly artificial, but in a very pleasant way.
Yeah.
Not an off-putting way. What else we got in here? Sosuke's back tat.
Hey, I was wondering if there was going to be art of his doggo.
That is the... What did he what was it?
I do not remember
guardian
the
dog.
word.
Yeah. Oh, so this is a harness that he's got. I've always wondered what the little eye in the Viv was. But got a harness on. Okay, makes sense. Looking good, my man. That is a lot of art. Damn, dude.
But also like a spinal cybernetic unit going down the middle.
Yeah.
Cool look.
Good move. I like
Well, that's an incredible glow up since V1.
Yeah, I like how you can see like where the ideas come in and how they like iterate over time. It's good shit. Hello, Han.
Oh, wait. Han was in the posters for the host bar.
She was.
We saw those posters.
I didn't realize. Huh. That's a... I can't read what it says down there at the bottom. Something number 1. There's Huey Rock. See, as soon as you give him a look like that,
Yep.
yeah, that's how you know. Once you have that in the bank.
Man, look at this guy. The host club. I didn't really ever get a good feel for, like, the host club because it's one of the few settings where, like, you really need the people around it to get a feel for it, right? Because the people are the product,
Yep.
not the space itself. Oh, shit. Young Kim. Young Daisuke. Oh, so that's faded purple. Oh, it's so weird seeing graying versions of weird hair colors. But I like how well thought out that is. And Tiny Morgue.
Oh, and is that the no mask?
That's the no mask. And this was the outfit she was wearing that night.
For casual murder.
For casual murder, yeah.
As opposed to the usual business formal murder.
True. Looking good, Morgue. All right. Well, that's all we got for this until fucking episode 3 comes out.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I guess we'll see you when that happens. Maybe? Maybe we
Probably.
won't. Maybe we'll just disappear and you won't get any more of the series ever.
No.
Okay, fine. If you're going to twist my arm about it. Bye.
Peace.
Smash that like, comment and subscribe.